I was a huge Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase fan, and I heard about this case similarly, what entail defrauding a lot of the people of Mississippi. Brett Favre was included in this case, and Ted DiBiase Jr., which is not the father, but Jr. Um, got into the frying pan where they got millions in food stamps and other things like that from the Mississippi, right? And at the time, honestly, I thought these people were going to get a slap on the wrist because of their status in society. Brett Favre went so far as to sue Shannon Sharp. He sued Umar Johnson. And that people were lying on his name. So the reason why I'm mentioning Brett Favre, because actually Brett Favre was involved in this case. Brett Favre was involved in this case. He took the money, even though Brett Favre has made millions upon millions in the NFL. He defrauded the people of Mississippi, and nothing happened. Brett Favre still have a lot of his endorsements. He still have a lot of his podcast that he was doing. A lot of this stuff he still had, and then he went on the suing train. Hell, I may even get a letter in the mail saying he want to sue me because I mentioned his name in this video. I'm not saying he's guilty or not guilty, but we do see that Mississippi has started putting some rubber to the road. So this today, Ted DiBiase Jr. leaves court, and we're going to read some of the information from Yahoo News.
Jesus loves you, brother. God bless you, man.
Is that all you got to say, Ted?
That's it.
You're accused of stealing millions of dollars from poor people in Mississippi.
It's all good.
You don't want to say anything, Ted?
You sure? I love you, brother.
Scott, what do you want to say?
Appreciate talking to you.
All right, at least you can see that his wife definitely rides with him, right? So let's come over here and let's read some of what's going on. Ted DiBiase Jr., not to be confused with the father, the $1 million man, charged with theft of millions of Mississippi welfare funds. A lot of people are like, I won't swipe food stamps. I won't swipe no food stamps. Well, hell, Ted DiBiase Jr. did. Has been charged with the theft of millions of dollars that was reserved for needy families in Mississippi. According to a federal indictment that was unsealed on Thursday, former WWE star Ted DiBiase, or Theodore Marvin DiBiase Jr., is being accused of using fraudulent means to obtain federal money for his own personal use. DiBiase, John Davis, Christi Webb, Nancy New, and others were named as co-conspirators in the case. So as you can see, Brett Favre is not mentioned in this case. That does not take away that Brett Favre was not involved, because what Brett Favre did, if I'm not mistaken, he ended up paying back a lot of the money. But Brett Favre definitely some of this fraudulent activities in Mississippi. Let's keep going. DiBiase is charged with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds. 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. If he is convicted, DiBiase faces the following penalties: 5 years minimum in prison for the conspiracy count, 20 years maximum each wire fraud count, 10 years maximum each count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and each count of money laundering. Ted DiBiase Sr. and 2 of his sons, Ted Jr. and Brett, were named in the October 2021 letter from Mississippi State Auditor Shad White's office that asked them to pay back the money they received through the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Fund. So as you can see, they were given out. They were given out to pay back a lot of the money. Then Brett Favre, like I mentioned in this, he paid back a lot of his money. He paid back a lot of his money. So that's why Brett Favre is probably not mentioned here, because they gave him a grace period, which was 2 years, not 2 years, total 2 years, but almost 2 years. You could clearly see they were given an opportunity to pay back a lot of the money. The 3 were required to do a certain amount of work to receive the money, but failed to do so. Former NFL Brett Favre and former Oklahoma Sooner star Marcus Dupree was also named in that letter. All right, so let's look right here. And like I told you, Brett Favre had threatened to sue in the shop, Umar Johnson, and so many other people, because he felt that he was wrongly named. But clearly you see that he don't have a leg to stand on. So if you sue these people, you opening up the door for where you're gonna have to tell the truth. White's office demanded that Ted DiBiase Jr. must return $3.9 million. Ted DiBiase Sr. was not personally indicted in the allegations, but White's office demanded that he pay $722,299 of the monies that his ministry received. So, all right, so you already see that Ted DiBiase Sr. is not a minister, or he have a church, and he's living up to the name of the $1 Million Man. If people don't know, that's what he came out. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He was a bad dude in that ring. I used to love that wrestling. It was alleged that Brett funneled money through Ted Sr.'s Heart of David ministry while he served as a senior official at the Mississippi Department of Human Services. All right, so Brett, it was alleged that Brett funneled money through Ted's Senior's Heart of the David Ministries while he served as the senior official of Mississippi Department of Human Services. Brett was initially asked to pay $225,950, and he later plead guilty for his role in the welfare scheme. So he did plead guilty, right? Do I have the right name? That's Brett, right? He's around here on the suing spree. All right, so let's talk about the statement. Let's talk about the statement. A federal indictment was unsealed Tuesday in Mississippi, charging a former professional wrestler with misappropriating millions of dollars in federal safety net funds intended for needy families and low-income individuals in Mississippi. According to court documents, Theodore Marvin DiBiase Jr., 40. Dang, he had looked a lot older than 40. I know I got gray hair, but he had looked older than 40. Of Madison, along with co-conspirators John Davis, Christi Webb, Nancy New, and others, are alleged to have fraudulently obtained federal funds, including the Emergency Food Assistance Program and the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families. They have misappropriated for their own personal use and benefit. Davis was the executive director of Mississippi Department of Human Services, MDHS, as part of the alleged scheme, and other federal funds were issued to MDHS. Davis directed MDHS to subgrant the funds to two non-profit organizations: Family Resource Center of North Mississippi, Inc., FRC, and Mississippi Community Education Center, MCEC, which are operated by Webb and New. So you see that right there. They were in the know. All right. They were in the know and they were well connected in this scheme of Webb. Her name is Webb and she was in a web, right? That's the way I think about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. But let's keep going. All right. Davis then allegedly directed Webb and New to award sham contracts to various individuals and entities purportedly for the delivery of social services, including at least 5 sham contracts that were awarded to DiBiase companies, Priceless Ventures LLC, and Family Oratim LLC. Maybe I butchered the name. I don't know, but let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. As further indictment, alleged indictment under these sham contracts, FRC and MCEC provided millions of dollars in federal funds from MDHS to DiBiase and its companies for social services that DiBiase did not provide and did not intend to provide. DiBiase allegedly used these federal funds to buy a vehicle and a boat. So you're going to put 20 years on your life for a dang on boat? Goddamn fool. And for the down payment on the purchase of a house. Now, okay, I see the house. But a car and a boat, you want to risk it all? DiBiase is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. If convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison for the conspiracy count, a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each wire fraud count, and a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison for each count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, for each count of money laundering. All right, so my question is, was it worth it, folks? Was it worth it for a boat, a house? I'm not saying that's where all his money went, but was that worth it? Right? Was it worth it? Let's talk about it, because this is going to be a big story. It has been a big story for 2 years. Brett Favre already pled guilty in this case, so I guess that he feels that he's handled the way he's handled it, but I don't think it was worth it, folks. But anyways, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.